Hello everyone here at MagicCon Las Vegas and welcome to the first panel of the weekend. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to the preview panel, my friends. My name's Riley Knight and I'll be hosting this panel as we get underway with all sorts of stuff that you're going to be very excited to see. We're going to kick things off with a first look at the Lost Caverns of Ixalan with some exclusive preview cards. You're going to be the first in the world to see them there. I've got some more details for you on Ravnica Remastered, a set that I'm very much looking forward to. I cut my teeth on competitive Magic playing Return to Ravnica, so I'm happy to be heading back there. We're also going to have a look at the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth holiday release, chat about some of the exciting new stuff that's coming up there. And of course, as I've already said, the preview panel, as you might expect, a whole bunch of preview cards. A lot to get across today, as ever, so we're going to get stuck straight in. Would you please join me in welcoming our first two panelists from Wizards World Building? We have Ovidio Cartagena and Miguel Lopez. Hey. Thanks for joining us here on the stage and coming and sharing your expertise with us. Ovidio, you were the art director for, the senior art director, I should say, for the Lost Caverns of Ixalan and Lord of the Rings. Miguel, you've worked as a world-building set lead, so perspectives of you two are going to be invaluable as we get into talking about some of the new cards and the new worlds or the new aspects of the worlds we're exploring here. We're going to kick things off talking about the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. And Ovidio, I'm going to start with you. We're returning to Ixalan. This is a plane that we've been to before. We visited it. We've looked at it through a certain lens. But maybe for people who are visiting Ixalan for the first time or need a refresher, what is Ixalan? Where are we visiting again?
So Ixalan is our Meso and South American inspired set. There's a continent named Ixalan, and the plane is named Ixalan. Last time we were there, we saw it mostly from the point of view of explorers, right? The age of exploration. Now, we get to see it from the point of view of indigenous peoples from the continent of Ixalan, and we get to dive into the caves. There's a lot of threats there. There's a lot of culture there. There's a lot of awesome things. And some of those we'll show today. Yeah, we're going to get stuck into exactly how we're exploring Ixalan this way, because it's a different and a really exciting and really important way to look at this plane. But Miguel, I turn to you now for us to have a quick chat about some of the stuff that's different, right? Yeah. This is not just a rehash of the Ixalan that we knew before. Yes. For instance, this is not a faction-based set, mechanically speaking.
Right, yeah, so it's not a factionalized set, but it is typal, right? So fans of pirates, vampires, merfolk, and dinosaurs, of course, there is a whole lot in there for y'all. And as Ovidio said, you know, we wanted to revisit Ixalan, not necessarily through the sort of Age of Sail, Age of Discovery, but more as cultural self-exploration, right? Yeah. So this is not exploring out, but it's exploring down into the living history of Ixalan, history that can speak for itself and contend with its ancestors.
And well, speaking of ancestors, this brings us very neatly to what I want to talk about now. I'll turn to you again, Ovidio, as we talk about one of the key thrusts of this set is a race to the center of Ixalan. Again, we'll see these factions represented as they explore the world, but not in the same way that we saw them in the last set. But what are they racing for? What are they hunting for as we delve into these caverns?
So they've discovered the hints of this substance called cosmium. It's a little bit of a, I don't want it to sound like just like, oh, just research. No, it's action archaeology, right? Like there's a lot of threats on the way. Some people won't make it all the way down to the core. Cosmium is a new resource of power and magic, and it all comes from the sun at the center of the hollow plane of Ixalan. It's where the Oltec live, and just the Oltec are the only ones who have mastered it and can use it for themselves. They've lived next to Chimil. They worship Chimil for millennia, right?
So let's talk about both the Oltec and Chimil. The Oltec are an ancient civilization. Are they the precursor, the forerunners to the Legion? To the
the indigenous people of Ixalan that we've seen before, the Sun Empire?
So to steal a phrase from Miguel, they're the living ancestors of the Sun Empire.
Okay.
And so they originated many of the ideas in the whole plane. As you go through the caves, you'll see that there's petroglyphs and all sorts of colorful patterns made in Cosmium. The ancients did that, and the inheritors of that mastery in crafting are the old tech.
So the living ancestors,
Yes.
the people who went before but are also still here.
Yeah.
And talk to us about Chimil as well. We can see it up on the screen now, Chimil, the inner sun. Tell us what's going on with this.
Well, Chimil was a star that was, it was torn apart by mysterious earlier invasion. And it's at the core, so the old tech just worship that. They use that for story purposes, but also for defense.
All right, so a brand new source of power in the form of Cosmium, a mystery to unravel with what's happened to Chimil, and a race to the center of the plane. But it's not just new things that we're exploring with the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Miguel, what would a trip to Ixalan be without everyone's favorite creature type from this plane, everyone's favorite faction, the dinosaurs. Of course, dinosaurs featuring very, very prominently in Ixalan. Gishath is back. Talk to us about dinosaurs on Ixalan in this new set.
So, like I said, this isn't a factionalized set, but we intend for there to be very, very strong typal representation. Dinosaurs are inextricably linked with Ixalan, what Ixalan is, and what Ixalan, as we're going to discover, was, and still is. So we're going to see dinosaurs from the Sun Empire, dinosaurs that are native to the caverns of Ixalan, dinosaurs in the core, and they're very, their differences in feathering, in costuming, in their scales. The history of this plane is seen in the creatures that embody it, and dinosaurs embody it.
Well, I'm sure that many people will be very, very excited to see dinosaurs come back. And, even if this isn't a factional set mechanically, these factions are all almost still in conflict with each other as they race to Chimil, as they race to the center of the plane.
Like I said, really strong typal representation in the set. We're going to see multiple exploring parts. Our point of view is the Sun Empire, right? And the people of Ixalan on Ixalan. But we are going to see there's a Dusk Legion expedition. There is we'll find out what happened to the River Heralds. Who else am I forgetting? The Brazen Coalition, right? They're in there as well. It gets, as everyone draws closer to the core, it gets a little active, gets a little fun.
All right, well, I'm looking forward to getting to that. We can have a brief look now at another piece of art representing the Sun Empire here, the Burning Sun Cavalry. So for those who were perhaps, well, I don't think anyone was worried that dinosaurs weren't going to make an appearance on Ixalan again.
No,
they're here.
They'll definitely be here.
Well and truly. But Ovidio, I'll come back to you to talk about another really key aspect of our last visit to Ixalan, which is back again in a new way, treasure, right? We've got the vampires hunting for treasure for their nefarious purposes. We've got the pirates hunting for treasure because that is what pirates do. And this time, undiscovered treasures lie beneath the surface of Ixalan, infused with this, with what you were talking about before, Cosmium.
Yes, some of these treasures were crafted by the old tech. And Cosmium is going to make gold feel like charcoal.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
It's just such a powerful source. Everyone's looking for it. Like this, the Sun Empire is looking for some historical and diplomacy too, like create a bridge between their two cultures. The Legion of Dusk, later on, in the future, we'll see what Cosmium does. What they do with Cosmium.
I'm sure it's nothing good.
Yeah. The Brazen Coalition wants to, of course, hoard it, right? Like, I don't know what they're going to do with it, but they want to hoard it.
So
everyone's after that here, and it permeates the caverns and the core. You'll see it many times throughout the set and in the art.
Well, and indeed, in this panel, we've got cards to show off in a few short minutes that showcase some of the effects that Cosmium are having, not just in the world, but also in the cards that we're going to open in boosties and play with. So I'm looking forward to getting to that. For those of you, the story nerds, the Vorthoses out there who want to get stuck in and learn more about the Lost Caverns of Ixalan, stories start on the 19th of October if you want to learn more, so keep an eye out for that. But we can move now from talking about the world of Ixalan to talking about some of the characters that we're going to see in this set. And by the end of this discussion, we will start getting into the cards that these characters are represented on. Let's kick things off with a face that will be familiar to Magic fans, but we've never seen this character on Ixalan before. Miguel, tell us about Quintorius Cant, who is hanging out on Ixalan now.
All right, so Quint finds his way to Ixalan. He is our planeswalker for the set. He is, for a quick refresher for the folks who didn't applaud, Quint is a Loxodon lore master from Lorehold, which is a college of Strixhaven on Arcavios. I hope I got all those world building terms right. I'd be a bad world builder if I didn't. So he is invited to Ixalan as both to help out with some things that are happening there, but then also to travel there to track down what he believes is evidence of a plane-spanning civilization that predates Omen Paths. So we're going to see him, as you can probably tell by the card, he gets pretty invested in the events of the story and winds up working alongside the spirits that you see there. These are spirits that are found, they're spirits of the people of the core who are found in the caverns and the core.
Very ominous.
Yeah, so the ominous rumbling is not part of that. And they're very closely associated with artifacts that, tools, weapons, clothing, things that they used in life that are, as I said, they're strongly associated with and can be drawn from as a spirit.
There's another thing that I want you to take note of here, people in the audience. You'll notice that Quintorius's art is vertical. We have established now that there is only one planeswalker per set now.
Yep.
And that's going to be very, very important. Keep that in mind as we continue to explore these characters. Very important consequences of that coming up in just a few seconds. But Ovidio, I'll turn to you now to talk about another character, a familiar-ish face, only a very recent addition to the Magic oeuvre here. We've got Kellen, who fans of Wilds of Eldraine will recognize. He had a pretty big role in Wilds of Eldraine. And now he's on Ixalan. What's he doing here?
Well, he took an Omen path here, right? Kellen came from the Wilds of Eldraine. He, at the beginning of the story, he falls into a little bit of a bad company, right? So
mixing with the wrong crowd.
Yeah, mixed with the wrong crowd. So he'll find himself to the right folks. He, as you can see the costuming here, it has a little bit of old tech stuff going on. So we'll find out why that is on the story.
All right, well, keep an eye out for Kellen, Daring Traveller, another relatively new character who we're seeing take a bit more of a role in the ongoing story. But we have now a familiar face. For those of you who've been playing for a while, you will, of course, recognize Saheeli, who is on Ixalan and has been for quite a while. Here she is. But my friends, take note, because Saheeli's art here is not portrait, it is landscape. And landscape art, Miguel, tends to end up on creature cards, not planeswalker cards. So my question for you, has Saheeli lost her spark?
Yes, Saheeli has lost her spark. She, along with many other planeswalkers in the wake of March of the Machines, have lost their spark. I should say some prefacing for the story of Lost Caverns of Ixalan. It takes place roughly a year and some change after the events of March of the Machine. So in that intervening time, Saheeli has found her way to Ixalan, where there she lives and works with her partner Watley. Together they are instrumental in helping the Sun Empire rebuild after the events of March of the Machine. And also, as we'll find out in the story, the events of the Lost Caverns of Ixalan and potentially the shape of what the plane the continent and the plane could be in the future.
And you can see that Saheeli looks pretty at home at Ixalan. She's kind of settled down with Watley, and now she's making dinosaurs as well. So she's really embracing her new life at Ixalan there as Watley's partner. So that's great to see. But again, important to note, Spark not around anymore, which is something we're going to see more and more of in sets from here on out, as so many planeswalkers lost their spark during the events of the Phyrexian invasion. Which brings us, my friends, to a card that is really, really important to this set, really, really important to Ixalan, but as Ovidio will tell us, really important with what this set is trying to do. because it's time now to introduce to you a card. We're going to see for the first time a card border. The text isn't going to be on it. We will get to it in just a second, but we want to spend some time talking about the role of this character in Ixalan for just a moment before everyone starts going crazy about how the card actually works. It is time, Ovidio, for us to talk about Huatli, the headline act of Ixalan. Here
Huatli.
she is, and you will notice this is a double-faced card. Huatli transforms into a saga for reasons that Ovidio is going to talk us through. But Ovidio, this is a card that you, I know, have poured so much effort, so much time, so much love and passion into. Tell us everything about what went into building this card.
So, a little bit, some credits. Huatli now is dressed more like an explorer than a knight, right? Because she's delving all the way down into the core to open relationships with the old tech. The art was painted by the great Tyler Jacobson, so just go shake his hand. he's here. But the costuming was designed by Victor Adame. We were very invested in this character. If you pay attention to Huatli, you see some glowing lines on her skin. So that's cosmium. There's a little bit of story there. And we talked to Jules, right, in design. We were like, hey, dude, listen, Huatli needs to tell a story. And
well, she's the warrior poet of Ixalan.
she's the warrior poet. So can this be, pretty please, can this be double-sided? Can we do a saga on the other end? It was like, yes, we can do it. And it's a beautiful card with beautiful art. On the flip side, on one side, we see Huatli in the middle of a battle at the core, right, with dinosaurs. On the other side, we see the poem Huatli wrote after the battle. So she survived.
Yes.
And the art is based on the huipil. That's a garment that is worn by people in my country, by women, and by people in Mexico. It's a Mesoamerican garment. The women in my country, they embroider whole stories, glyphs, motifs, their villages, their daily life, a whole high art story woven and embroidered into clothing. So I wanted to bring that aspect of real living culture to Ixalan. This and many other references to indigenous cultures. When Tyler painted this, I told him, this reminds me a lot of home and the experiences I've had, right? I grew up in Guatemala. And, well, as you'll see, there's references to the mechanics within the huipil itself and in the glyphs that were used. But yes, it's just one of the ways that we made this set authentic and resonant. Ixalan is, we did our best for fans of Magic, but also for mi gente, right? Like los Latinos, the people in Latin America. We want everyone to see themselves. I want Latin Americans to see themselves here and to have a lot of fun playing the game too.
Well, I was really fascinated to hear you explain what's going on with this huipil, what's going on with this storytelling because this is, I think, one thing that we tend to have when we look at the age of exploration, when we're thinking about Mesoamerican civilizations, it's all from a sort of, when we're talking about the real world, a post-Columbian perspective. There's a very Eurocentric view to the way that these worlds are portrayed. And for me, seeing this very legitimate, very authentic, very real cultural representation of something that existed in the past in history in these civilizations that have been around for centuries, but also still are here today, living culture represented on Magic cards. I think it's fantastic. I don't have any specific personal connection with Mesoamerican culture, personally speaking, but I'm still so blown away by the representation, the authenticity of what we're seeing drawn out in these Magic cards. So I hope for people like you, people who have these strong cultural links to Mesoamerica, I hope they feel seen, and I hope they feel heard, and I hope they feel that they have an identity that is so valid in this game and in this community. I don't know. I think you've done such a good job with this sort of stuff. So congratulations, and I'm sure everyone agrees that this is such a wonderful thing to be bringing to Magic, such authentic cultural representation like this. So, with all that said, my friends, we now move on to the preview card itself. We are going to have a look now at our very first preview card from the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. It is Huatli. It is Huatli, the poet of unity, and here she is as a double-sided transforming card here. 3 mana for a 2/3. When Huatli, Poet of Unity, enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. So we've got a Borderland Ranger, essentially. But it only gets better from there. For 5 mana, we can exile Huatli, return it to the battlefield, transformed under her owner's control, activate that only as a sorcery, and we have the Roar of the Fifth People. And this is the story that is being told on this whip bill. This is the story that Huatli told in the poem that she wrote, and you can see creating dinosaurs with Chapter 1, gaining extra mana with Chapter 2, so you can continue to fill out the board. Chapter 3, searching up another dinosaur, and then Chapter 4, dinosaurs you control gain double strike and trample until end of turn. How about that? Miguel, let's talk about, we talked about the story that is being told in universe, right, with this card. Let's talk about the mechanical story that is being told, particularly with the saga here. Yeah, so Ovidio touched on it a bit already, but as a world builder, I get to interact with, the mechanics of the set as well, and sagas are such an incredible tool for evoking a history, or in this card, a story. So, we have the Wipil is telling the story. We have the mechanics as you progress through it is evoking the story that Huatli is telling you. Mm-hmm. And if it resolves, you have the story being reenacted at the table as you're playing it as well. So they're just so many layers to. Well, you're kind of like any good bard or poet would. You're kind of retelling your story as you resolve the chapters of the Roar of the Fifth People and stomp your enemies into the dirt at the commander table with your huge dinos. So I know there'll be many dinosaur players out there who are looking at this card and just licking their chops, ready to get it straight into their commander decks. So that's terrific. But we've got so much more stuff to show you, and it's now time to talk about some of the booster fund treatment that we're going to see in Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Kicking off with the borderless Oltec frame treatment that you're going to see with the Skull Spore Nexus. Ovidio, as the art director for this set, I know that you were wanting to tell a story with the art that went into this set, and I know this is a card that you're really passionate about. Tell us about what went into creating this card. So this, we've been following Mona Robot's art for a while, right? Like Monica Robles is such an amazing artist. One of the first that came to mind when we were designing the concept art for Ixalan, we were like, we gotta get Monica some art in the set, and she's made her career on this shape language, right? The Mesoamerican, like the Aztec and Mayan patterns, and it just brings the set to mind. It's eye-catching, it's exciting, it's authentic, and it's really powerful work. Yeah. Really, really beautiful stuff. There's a few more in the set from her. So I'm just really excited for this one and the others. Well, keep an eye out for them, the borderless Oltec frame treatment on a couple of very high-profile cards in this set. But I want to move on now to a card that will look a little bit familiar in terms of its layout. People who have been following recent sets, March of the Machine Aftermath, the Multiverse Legends, we saw the Plane of Ixalan represented some of the legendary creatures on coins, right? People have seen those cards. Well, there's a slightly different avenue that's been taken that evokes that imagery of the circular coins that were in those cards, but in an all-new way. Miguel, I'll get you to talk us through our next preview card here, which is Oher Ashanil, Deepest Might, showcased here in the Gods of Ixalan showcase treatment. Let's talk about the left-hand side here, the front face of the card. We have this almost coin-like representation of this god, but it takes a different form to the golden coins that we saw in the previous ones. Yeah. So one of the things that I think Ovidio and I, sort of at the top when we started working on this set, there are greater treasures than just gold, right? History, the cultures that you're going to encounter as you descend to the core of Ixalan. So we're going to see Oher Ashanil along with some other gods of
the core of Ixalan, represented in this treatment where we have instead of a coin, I think we thought of it more as like a medallion, right?
An idol type thing.
Yeah, that evokes, it is formed from materials that are specific to the gods and the cultures that worship them. So, like I said, you'll see this one and others.
And this treatment will apply to each god that appears in the set.
To every god that appears in the set.
Yeah. All right. Yep. So again, you can keep an eye out for this. But you'll notice on the other side of the card, on the reverse side, we see something that's very familiar, right? This is a treatment or a card frame that we saw in the original Ixalan set that's slightly different. This the map lands frame treatment. But here, rather than it being a typical European seafaring chart, Ovidio, we're looking at, once again, a representation of Mesoamerican art here.
So across the caves, you'll see there's line patterns, petroglyphs made of cosmium on the walls and on the cave ceilings, indicative of the constellations. So it's kind of a chart of the stars that they can't see in the caves, inspired by the Nazca lines. That's on the text box. On the art itself, we see Ojera Shonil ripping Aklasotz's eye out, which is a great piece of fiction by Miguel, a great touch. Just want to say something about the material. If you've seen the art for Ojera Shonil, the main art, he's coming out of a volcano. And so the volcanic rock obsidian is his rock here. So each of the gods is going to have materials thematic to them in this treatment.
Their own substance that sort of represents or is connected to them, right? Okay. So those are some of the treatments that you will see, but we do have, we've got one more to show you here, my friends. And I just want to make sure that you are settled, you're strapped in, because this card is going to knock your socks off. Returning to standard after years and years on the bench, a multi-format all-star. We play it in Modern, we play it in Legacy, we play it in Commander. My friends, it is my pleasure to reintroduce to the stage here, the first time in years, Cavern of Souls. Miguel, as we all know, this is a massive card, a massive reprint, but it's one that kind of just wrote itself. The Lost Caverns of Ixalan, one of the most famous caverns in Magic. We're back.
When we pulled up the card record, it was basically already there. We couldn't not have it in there. It's a, like I said at the top, this is not a factionalized set, but it is typal. This is it's an auto lock for typal decks, right? And we have Quint working alongside spirits. We have souls in the name. It's the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. It is a cavern, right? It would just be a huge miss to not have it in there. It made sense. It's back.
It's so good to have it back. And you mentioned before a video that we're going to see Cosmium represented, not just in the story, but on the cards themselves. The card on the right of the screen there, my friends, is the Cosmium Neon Ink treatment. We can give you a look at some of the other ways that this is going to show up here. This is very much, very similar to the Neon Ink that we saw in Neon Dynasty, in Kamigawa. But talk to us about the role that Cosmium plays in the way that this card's represented.
So a set based on caverns runs the risk of being dull, right? Because you go down spelunking, and if you've ever gone into a cave, it's quite dark. And even with the light, there's not a lot of color there. But my friend, Latin America is colorful, right? And I wanted to bring that palette and beauty in every card. And it basically put itself into all the art. This is probably the best way to see it. Right? This is the closest probably that you're going to see it as the explorers saw it in the story. All the cosmium in the walls and on the ceiling everywhere, all around, all these etchings of mysterious ancestors happening. And this treatment is just spectacular to communicate that.
It's a spectacular treatment for a spectacular card. The first time we have had Cavern of Souls in Standard since Avacyn Restored, which was, I hesitate to remind you because it will make you feel very old, 10 years ago. So it's great to have Cavern of Souls back. We've got a few more special treatments to show you here. We move on now to the Legends of Ixalan treatment. Miguel, very quickly, Breach's Eager Pillager here is shown off in the Legends of Ixalan treatment. What can we expect with this treatment here?
Yeah, so for this treatment, we're going to feature just a ton of new and returning legends from Ixalan. It's a striking, bold, high contrast. We'll have the portrait of the legend on there with this sort of Cosmium-inspired frame in the back. It's just a super solid collection of folks there.
Looks terrific. Looking forward to seeing more familiar faces in the Legends of Ixalan treatment. But speaking of familiar faces, look who's back, my friends. It's Ghalta. As big as ever, Ovidio, but like we've never seen it before now in the borderless dinosaur frame treatment here.
So I love this treatment. This is a piece by Siddharth. It's based on the old book illustrations of dinosaurs that you used to have, except, of course, as a constant. Aliana did such a great job art directing this. As a constant, the colorful dinosaurs, right? All the colors jump out at you. It just feels like you're flipping through those old books where you fell in love with dinosaurs for the first time.
Yeah, and for all the sorcery speed green mages out there, I count myself very proudly amongst their ranks. Let's go. 8 mana, 12/12, and just put your entire hand into play, baby. Let's go. Can't wait. Oh my goodness. For all the fans of Genesis Wave and all the rest of these big dumb green spells, Ghalta's here to look after us real nice. Now, we've got something special to show you here. Something that's, I guess, might be a surprise. Our box toppers. We don't have to spend too long on this. We're going to see some more borderless cards like this one, Coercive Portal. There are a couple of others as well that you're going to want to get across. But these are the treasure trove box toppers for the set. Keep an eye out because there are some really special offerings coming your way via the box toppers. But I want to move now to talk about a brand new feature that will be returning not just after Lost Caverns of Ixalan. We're going to see this into the future in future sets. It's a brand new concept called Special Guests. The Special Guest treatment begins with a card that goes all the way back to Alpha, my friends, with Lord of Atlantis. Now, a couple of details about the Special Guest treatment. If a card is featured in a set with Special Guest treatment, it does not change the legality of the card in terms of the formats it can be played in. You're not going to be able to play Lord of Atlantis in Standard because of this set. But what you will see is cards like Lord of Atlantis and some others represented or shown through the lens of the set that we're visiting, Miguel, although it doesn't mean that Lord of Atlantis is literally on Ixalan.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. It's with the Special Guests series of cards, we're going to have a handful of cards in each set going forward that are drawn from Magic's history and have new art that is evocative of the plane that the set that they're appearing in is associated with. But yeah, again, important as a lore guy, it does not mean that they're canon on that plane.
Yeah, we're not quite breaking breaking down the multiverse to that extent. Well, that's a special guest. And I've got another special guest to show you, but I should say this is a very, very special guest. I don't think any of you are ready to see this card because one of the other special guests that is appearing in the Lost Caverns of Ixalan, we've talked about treasure, we've talked about the power of Cosmium, and I am going to show you now one of the most powerful cards ever printed in Magic, full stop. One of our special guests in the Lost Caverns of Ixalan, can you believe it? It is Mana Crypt. Ovidio, Mana Crypt is a special guest in the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. This is a card that people are going to be able to get their hands on, and better yet, it is coming in the Cosmium Ink Neon treatment.
Oh, yeah.
How about that? Ovidio, tell us about this. This is exactly what Cosmium is meant to represent.
Listen, the first thing I want you to know is that the next time I play a Mana Crypt, hopefully it's one of these.
Absolutely.
Right? Gonna replace my existing Mana Crypts. Such a great card and such a flavorful treatment. It really belongs in this set.
Yeah, yeah. It's incredible to see a card of such power coming back to the front lines of Magic. For those of you maybe sitting and just being like, what's the big deal? How good could this card be? Oh, my sweet summer child. You have clearly never played against a Mana Crypt. My goodness. Well, I know that many of you won't be able to wait to get your hands on this and many other cards. But we've got one more thing to tell you about the Lost Caverns of Ixalan that is also very exciting. We have welcomed people, I guess, back to this world, this plane. We have welcomed people into a world filled with vampires and merfolk and dinosaurs. So if we're going to welcome people to a world filled with dinosaurs, Ovidio, we're better to welcome people than...
Where's that thumping where you need it? Welcome to Jurassic Park.
What better universes beyond partnership when dealing with a world filled with dinosaurs is there, my friend, than Jurassic World. We've teamed up with Jurassic World to bring you 20 cards that, of course, don't just showcase one of Magic's favorite creature types in dinosaurs, but also show off the world, the franchise that we've all come to know and love for so very long in Jurassic World. Indominus Rex Alpha is just one of the cards that you're going to see in this offering here, as well as another one that I know is really going to get you going here. I introduce to you, my friends, Ian Malcolm, Chaotician.
Amazing.
So, for fans of dinosaurs out there, rejoice. You've got something to look forward to here. For fans of Jurassic World, the Jurassic World franchise going all the way back years and years and years, it's going to be fantastic to see this brought to life in a whole new way with this. Let's talk dates. This set is coming at you very quickly indeed. I mentioned before, October 19th is when stories kick off. We have our debut day. Previews begin on October the 24th. And then, of course, the pre-release starting on the 10th of November, as some of you no doubt are aware. And on the 17th, 1 week later, launch parties, WPN launch parties kick off then. So you're not going to have to wait too much longer to get your hands on some of the incredible cards that are coming our way in Lost Caverns of Ixalan. I think that's it for the Lost Caverns. My friends, will you please help me, will you please join me in thanking these two gentlemen for talking us through this set. We'll be catching up with the video a little bit later on, but Miguel, thanks so much for your time and your expertise today.
Happy to be here.
Just one more thing.
One more thing.
Pay attention to the commander decks here.
Oh, sure. Actually, no, let's talk about this. Sorry, so some of the product offerings you can see on the screen here. A final note, I forgot to mention this. This is important, yes. These commander decks. Miguel, do you want to walk us through what we're seeing here?
Yeah. So like I was saying, the main set, I probably should have said this earlier, the main set is not factionalized. The commander decks are. So we're going to have one for each of the original Ixalan factions, one pirate, vampire, merfolk, and dinosaur commander deck.
So something to look forward to if you're needing to update your Typal deck with some of those cards. They'll be coming your way. Anyway, I'll let you get out of here. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you again in a video very shortly. Miguel, thanks very much for your time.
Thanks.
So my friends, before we move on now to talk about the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth holiday release, I want to just spend 5 or so minutes talking about a set that I'm personally very, very excited for. Magic experienced a huge boom, a huge growth in around 2012, 2013 with the release of Return to Ravnica. And given that Ravnica has been visited before and after that, it is one of Magic's most beloved planes. I'm sure all of us have enjoyed our time there, and I'm very pleased to tell you, we're going back once again. Ravnica Remastered is coming your way very, very shortly. It is the first release of 2024. We are going to see familiar, beloved characters on a plane that we all know and love. And some of the ways that these cards and these characters are being presented, I know they're going to get you excited, because we have, for all the anime fans out there, my friends, rejoice, because we've got characters like Fibblethip coming back, this time in anime form. Plenty of others as well. We've got a quick preview here to show you. 5 cards coming your way. Tomic, Fibblethip, Masker Girl, Krenko, and Birds of Paradise. Ravnica icons, my friends, that have been anime-ified for your viewing pleasure. Plenty more, of course, as well, but just a quick preview here. But it's now that I want to talk to the boomers. For all the Magic boomers out there, hobbling in here with your creaky knees and your replaced hips, I've got some good news for you. Because we are going to revisit Ravnica like never before. Have a look at some cards that we're going to see here in, for the first time, the retro frame, my friends. Check it out. Niv Mizzet, Aurelia, so many other fan favorites are coming back better than ever. And the boomers out here, well, the good news doesn't stop there, which we'll come to very shortly. But of course, what would a trip to Ravnica be without the Shocklands? And these Shocklands, we are on the same level when it comes to just real boomer stuff here. We've got the original Rob Alexander art reprinted again here on these cards. Incredible, spectacular, iconic pieces of Magic history coming back in Ravnica Remastered. And we're also seeing them reprinted here, or printed, I should say, with borderless treatment. This art may be familiar to you. You may have seen this art before online, but it is the first time that it is coming to physical paper cards, and it is spectacular. However, when it comes to the Shocklands, we've saved the best for last. Because the Shocklands are being printed for the first time in, can you guess, the retro frames. Have a look at this. Spectacular, nostalgic, iconic Magic cards coming back like you've never seen them before. It's so terrific to be going back to Ravnica like this, a plane, as I say, that we all know and love. And it's coming your way pretty quickly. On December the 19th, we're going to kick off the previews for Ravnica Remastered. And on January the 12th, we are going to launch the set. And a special detail that I can share with you now, the Ravnica Remastered set will, it won't surprise you to learn, feature cards from the original Ravnica block, the Return to Ravnica block. During the most recent visit we had to Ravnica, during the War of the Spark, Guilds of Ravnica, those cards will be appearing there. However, I'm pleased to tell you that we will also see cards set in Ravnica that didn't necessarily appear in Ravnica-based sets. So, cards that appeared in, for instance, Commander releases that featured Ravnica characters or identities or whatever, they will also be in Ravnica Remastered. So keep an eye out for your favorite locations and characters and icons from Ravnica. It's coming your way, launching on the 12th of January, previews December 19th. Keep an eye out for that. So, I know many of you will be excited for that. I certainly am as well. But it's time now for us to move on to the next stage of the preview panel as I welcome our guests from inside Wizards back onto the stage to talk to you about the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth holiday release. Please welcome back Ovidio Cartagena and Mike Turian from Wizards. Ovidio, welcome back. Good to have you back. And Mike, welcome to the stage for the first time today. Mike, you've been the Lord of the Rings product lead, and so you're in a great position to tell us about some of the products that we're going to unveil today. Broadly speaking, I think it's fair to say that everyone absolutely loved the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth. The June release was a huge success and a real showcase of some of the incredible things we can do with Universes Beyond. And so we're back for more.
We're back for more.
We're back for more, and we're going to kick things off now with something that I think we did have in the original June release, but now we've got a second volume, a second installment of it. We're heading back for some more Jumpstart.
Yeah, that's right. We're bringing back Jumpstart Volume 2 boosters, and you know, one of the things, like you said, everybody loved the Lord of the Rings, and one of the things we saw is so many people used it to bring their friends to Magic for the first time, or bring their friends back who hadn't played Magic in so long, and Jumpstart's just the perfect product for that, right? You take two boosters, you get these fun Lord of the Rings themes. We brought all of Middle Earth into them, and it's just such a great way to break open some packs. There's these awesome themes here we're looking at, like Mortal, Cunning, and so on, and really just dig into Magic, get playing right away.
It's a great onboarding tool for, if you've got a friend out there who is fully into fantasy, loves all that sort of stuff, but if you've never been quite able to get them over the line into playing Magic, this is how you're going to do it. This is how you're going to do it with the Lord of the Rings. Jumpstart's a great way to do it. Ovidio, 5 brand new rares appearing in the Jumpstart boosters. We can have a look at them here on the screen. Again, just continuing to explore and showcase Middle Earth in new ways.
We're just excited. There's more ways for new fans to jump into Magic with this, right? And they're pretty fun decks. It's a very solid experience. Even if you already play a lot of Magic, right, you're going to have a great time.
Yeah, it's a great casual experience. I know personally speaking from, anecdotally, I've spoken to friends who have, bought a box of the draft boosters from the June release, had some friends over who don't really play Magic, and they are now, halfway to building their own Commander decks as well. So again, a great way to get your friends on board. But we'll move on now from the Jumpstart boosters video. I'll stay with you as we talk about borderless scene cards. We can bring up some images now of the borderless scene cards that we've already seen. These will be familiar to you from the June release. These were cards that showcased big moments in the story of Lord of the Rings, the departure for the Grey Havens, Bilbo's birthday party, that sort of thing. And they're back again. Ovidio, we've got 4 brand new scenes in a product called the Borderless Scene Boxes, and each of them is focused on one individual character. The first one here, the Might of Galadriel. Talk to us about what went into bringing this product to life.
This piece is amazing.
Yeah.
By the great Alexander Mokov, one of the great Magic star artists, right? This is a scene that we see in the appendices, right, where Galadriel staves off orc invasion at the edge of Lorien, and I gotta say, the whole character scenes was a great effort led by Matt Cavotta, like great art director as well. He was on stage last year talking about the very first scene we showed. Just beautiful pieces with mechanically unique cards.
Well, let's get into this now. All of these pieces, all of these boxes have 6 mechanically unique cards. And what's really exciting about these pieces as well is when you buy the Borderless Scene box, you don't have to choose between playing these cards or displaying these cards. Mike, tell us how these products physically are actually made up.
Yeah, so in addition to the 6 cards we're looking at here, the Magic cards, Magic backs, you're going to play them in your decks. In addition to that, you get art cards and a display easel. And so that way, you have the art cards, you can put them in your binder or display them. And then be, building commander decks with these, having a great time, really, really digging in and enjoying.
Yeah, and we've got, we've got 4 of these. We're going to show you all of them. We've got brand new cards to showcase. The next one is we move on now to another iconic moment from the Lord of the Rings story. This represents the Battle of the Hornburg, Aragorn at Helm's Deep. Ovidio, do you want to talk us through some of the stuff that we're seeing here in this art piece?
This is an incredible scene by Jason Rainbow. Every piece is a banger, right? And this is just one more addition to the greatness that he's done. This is a battle at the Hornburg, right, with Aragorn at the center. Just the palette's just amazing. Incredible work.
And we can show you the cards now here. And Mike, this is something that I was having fun chatting to you about before the show. There's almost little cameos of old Magic mechanics, right? We've got Renown, there's Split Second, we're seeing things like Ascend return as just a sort of one-off, again, cameo on these cards, something that's available for us to do in a product offering like this.
Yeah, I mean, one of the great things about bringing it, mechanically new cards to the Lord of the Rings was, hey, we got to take a look at them and say, for those players who have commander decks out there, and either they want to be building it around the Lord of the Rings, or they have
a split-second theme deck.
A split-second theme deck, right? Your opponent's never going to be reacting to you. We used it as an opportunity to revisit awesome Magic mechanics that we typically don't get to do.
There's that one person who has like the renowned deck that they built with Magic Origins, and they're like, well, I never need to update this again. Nope.
Right.
I'll think again.
Right, and one of the things is like, as we were looking at these designs, like we really wanted them to be commander focused, and so just we made them awesome both to represent Middle Earth so well, but then also so you can just make your commander deck more powerful, and really bring it to life.
It might be important to note here the format legality of these cards. The original June offering was modern legal. Are these cards?
Well, much like the commander decks that we did with the June offering, these are commander legal cards. So commander, vintage, legacy.
Okay, so these are not modern playable.
Yeah, they're not modern playable.
Okay,
but and then one of the other things I thought was so amazing about the cards is just how we really learned from, we made these cards after we made the scenes in the June release. And so it really gave us an opportunity to partner with the creative team and really build an awesome, cohesive package.
I want to talk about this more as we bring up the next piece of art here, which is an incredible piece of art, a huge moment from the stories here at the Battle of the Pelennor Fields. This is Gandalf challenging the Witch King of Angmar. Ovidio, can you talk to us a little bit about how the art was created, how it came about, and also maybe how it influenced the way that the cards themselves were designed?
So the Battle of the Pelennor Fields was such a great event.
Yeah.
It has its own scene, but it's such an epic and monumental event, equal to the monumental task of making these.
Yes.
You can put the camera anywhere and you'll find some iconic image. So somewhere in the battle, we see Gandalf reveal himself as full-blown power of the Maiar.
Yes.
Right? And Matt Stewart just placed the camera right where you see the Witch King being thrown back. Right? And Witch King, such an amazing design for this set. Mm-hmm. There's just so many things that came together, and as you see the cards, somehow Matt just made it so that each space has its own mechanically relevant area, right?
Yeah,
and that's
got its own
the great
identity.
Synergy between creative and design.
So again, 6 brand new cards here, Mike, all of them representing an aspect or an element of this piece of artwork here. And it's incredible to see the iterations of characters like Gandalf through the set, growing almost from Gandalf, Friend of the Shire, all the way through to Gandalf the White, as his power was revealed throughout the trilogy.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that was so incredible about partnering with the world of Middle Earth in the novel was, like you were saying, we get to do cards that represent the character in their evolution over time, right?
Not just a static
It's not just a static moment in time. And so by capturing and getting to create new designs, it really just gave the designers such an opportunity to say, hey, what does Gandalf the White represent in Magic, versus at the start of the novel?
Yeah, it's fascinating to see. Also fascinating to see, again, returning mechanics, making a cameo appearance, things like Delve back again. But now our final scene here for the borderless scene boxes, Flight of the Witch King. And I know, Ovidio, you're a fan of the villains in stories like this. So tell us about this. This is a scene that represents the mustering of Sauron's forces at Minas Morgul.
Yes.
And in the lead up to the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, with the Witch King of Angmar leading the charge.
I definitely, in games, I've rewritten the history. Because I always play as Sauron or the Witch King or something, right? I always change the ending, an alternate ending. This is a beautiful piece by Campbell White. Campbell White is here at this convention, so just go shake his hand. It's an incredible talent that Campbell has. And here we see the Witch King at the height of his power, not high enough for Gandalf.
Doesn't quite know what's coming.
Doesn't know what's coming.
Doesn't realize. If only he bought one of these borderless scene boxes, then maybe he'd know what was coming his way. There you can see once again, my friends, 6 brand new mechanically unique cards coming your way. You'll be able to get your hands on these. We'll talk about dates in just a little bit. But it's not just the borderless scene boxes I want to tell you about now as we talk about these product offerings, because it's time to move on now to talk about the collector boosters from the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth holiday offering here. These are the special edition of the collector boosters. Now, there's something very important that I want to note here. These collector boosters, obviously, the one-of-one ring has been found. You are not going to find another one in these collector's boosters. That has already written itself into the history books. But these collector boosters, in essentially every other way, are what people are going to expect. High-level, premium cards available for those who are really looking for the high-end, most sought-after collectible cards available to them, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, with so much amazing content, it was just, okay, like, this was amazing. You know, there's so much love for the June release. And, you know, what we're about to show off here, I'm so excited because, you know, we really brought the special into this product. And
well, let's talk about it. We're going to show you first now the Borderless Brothers Hildebrand collection. And this is incredible, right? Let me tell you what's going on here. The Brothers Hildebrand have illustrated so many iconic scenes from Lord of the Rings, dating back years and years, decades. They had calendars, and there were other ways that their art was represented that, for many people, was their first introduction to Middle-earth. This art has been taken from where it used to be, and put onto Magic cards that you see, you know and love. We've all seen Pactum Negation, Sylvan Tutor, cards like this Season Pass, as well as with some of the legendary creatures. They have, Mike, this the overlay.
Yeah, similar to what we did with like the Godzilla cards.
Sure.
Right. We have an overlay here that we brought on to the legendary cards.
It's Ishkana cosplaying as Shelob.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can see here plenty more of these as well, but just a bit of a preview as to what's coming your way in these boosters when it comes to the Brothers Hildebrand art. But they do also come in a very special form in the form of silver foils. And Ovidio, you managed to do something quite difficult in revealing to me, a lifelong fan of Lord of the Rings, a piece of lore I didn't know about Lord of the Rings, in telling me some of the inspiration for these silver foils.
So the silver is the color of the underside of the leaves of the Malorn trees in Lothlorien. The Malorn trees look green with a silver underside, just like you'll see on the card. The silver is important. In the autumn, they turn golden, and they fall in the spring, and then the new leaves. So that silver is evocative of the Malorn tree at its most vibrant.
I don't think these cards turn gold and then fall on the floor, though.
I hope so.
We don't quite have the technology for that.
Just a little piece of the lore from Lorien that inspired this.
Really fascinating. So keep an eye for those silver foils. We can move on now and have a look at the Showcase Scrolls of Middle-earth. Now, this is a treatment, Mike, that is being applied to every main release card from the June release.
Yeah, right. So if you look, when you open up a pack of the June release, the commons, uncommons, rares, and mythics, that's what we mean by the main set. So not the variant cards, but all of those cards from the main set, we gave this treatment to, and then also from the Commander products. The June Commander products, the new rares and mythics in that product as well were brought into this as well. And I know we have one more variant we're going to be showing off of these upcoming as well.
Yes, indeed. We've got one more to show you, but before this, people will be very excited because this Showcase Scrolls of Middle-earth is also another chance for you to collect one of the most sought-after cards in the set. The Nazgul are back. Better looking than ever. Have a look at that. So the Nazgul appearing in the Showcase Scrolls of Middle-earth. Of course, all 9 variants of the art, they're available for you to collect as well. There is an article going up on Daily MTG to give you more details about this. But Mike, as you mentioned, the Showcase Scrolls of Middle-earth treatment also appearing in the silver foil.
Yeah, we wanted to offer them both in non-foil and then this new silver foil treatment. And one of the things I love is just how evocative this is of, you know, that novel and that you know, that classic feel that, you know, when you're reading the Lord of the Rings and turning those pages, we wanted to capture some of that with this treatment as well. And I just love how these turned out.
Yeah,
and silver foil.
They look great, and I'm sure that the silver foil is going to make them only look even better. I want to move on now to the borderless poster cards and a video. we had a chat about some of the things that you were looking to evoke with these cards. Tell us about the borderless poster cards and where they've sort of come from.
So this was the great work by the great Sarah Wassel, who AD'd the whole cycle. You know that many of the first experiences people had with Lord of the Rings, because those were the first adaptations of Lord of the Rings, were in music.
Yeah.
Many bands back in the day would make a song about Frodo here, or a song about Mordor there, and you would be like, what is this? And that takes you to the book, right? So we wanted to evoke those band posters. You're looking forward to seeing this band sing about Lord of the Rings, just peppering that lore there. Many famous musicians are fans of it.
Sort of reflecting the real world influence that the Lord of the Rings has had, not just on the world of fantasy, but also the world of music. These cards are also offered, Mike, I'd like you to tell us about the double rainbow foil that we're going to see here, which isn't just a special foil treatment, also serialized. Tell us about this.
Yeah, right. So the cards for each one of the 20 mythics, we were looking at some of them. We brought them into the borderless poster frame, and then we said, hey, we wanted to offer, we knew, of course, that the Rings of Power and the One of One Ring would be such a hit for the June release. What can we do that's, you know, amazing for the special edition? And the serialized borderless poster cards, you know, they're for each of them, they're numbered out of 100. So, you know, there's a few of them in the world, but when you open one, you've opened a very good pack.
A very special card.
Booster,
well,
yeah.
It's similar to the serialized ring cards. We had the Rings of Power.
Yeah, the Rings of Power, right? Yeah. So, and we're offering this one in the double rainbow foil, which, if you've ever had the chance to open a serialized card, it most likely was that the double rainbow. So, just to bring this in and really have it shine.
And this isn't the only serialized double rainbow foil card that we're going to be seeing in these collector boosters. We are also bringing back the Realms and Relics cards here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but these are the cards that we saw as box toppers from the June release.
Yeah, that's right. If you bought a display from the June release, you got one of these in traditional foil.
Yep.
Now we're bringing them also into that double rainbow foil, and once again for the serialized Realms and Relics, we've numbered each one out of 100, and so hopefully you're fortunate enough to open one of those out of the packs. And of course, you know, we're looking at Cavern of Souls, right? So it has a new little meaning now as well. With what we saw earlier.
This Pass the Dead, if you're fortunate enough to find one of these in a booster, you'll be able to play it in standard soon enough.
Right.
Very special indeed. Ovidio, we turn to you now to have a chat about the Showcase Ring treatment. This is a treatment that we have seen already a little bit in the June release, and it's back now in the form of Surge foil. Talk to us a little bit about what we're seeing here.
So it's the amazing treatment that Tom's team came up with about seeing how the ring affects these characters, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a new way to collect it. Definitely, it's something that I want to collect personally because I love all those story moments, and it's one of my favorite treatments in the whole set.
Yeah, and then we added on that Surge foil because it's just such a high-end treatment that we really try to keep very exclusive, and it makes the Showcase Ring cards shine even more.
Yeah, quite literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. So those are some of the very exciting things that you're going to be finding in the special edition of the Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth collector boosters. One final thing to show you here before we wrap up talking about the Lord of the Rings. One of my favorite cards. It's a workhorse. It is a reliable card. If you're a green player playing Commander, you've almost certainly played it. Rampant Growth, my friends. It's not a headliner, but it's still secretly one of the best cards in every green deck in Commander, and it's here showcasing the power of the mightiest gardener in Middle-earth. Samwise Gamgee growing the Malon tree in the Shire. A beautiful card with a beautiful frame. This is the play promo, I believe.
Yes, that's right. So this isn't, you're not going to find this in the special edition collector booster, but it is a promo, and it's available through Play Program.
Yep.
So, and like you said, like everybody needs Rampant Growth.
Everyone needs a Rampant Growth.
Right.
Even if you don't know it, even if you're a Grixis mage, just come on, man. We get it. You play Grixis. You build a deck by just dropping your binder on the floor and picking up the rares. Like we understand. So that is Rampant Growth. Head down to your LGS and you'll be able to snag yourself one of them, more likely than not. One final thing before we go today, Mike, I want you to tell us about the Secret Lair Extra Life product offering. Ponies the Galloping 2. We're coming back for more.
That's right, we're coming back for more. Yeah, a few years ago, in support of Extra Life and in support of the Seattle Children's Hospital, right, raising money for kids, their families, and doing support, we created Ponies the Galloping, and now we're back with Ponies the Galloping 2. So this is a Secret Lair product. So if you want to go buy it, it's on sale now for pre-order.
And so right now, if you want to jump online and get yourself one of these, you can do so.
Yes, and you get the 4 ponies you see here. You can choose between foil and non-foil, or it is for a good cause. So I hope you choose both.
Why not?
Absolutely. And then in addition to that, we have my pony merchandise, Extra Life merchandise at extralifeshop.com. So you can buy play mats there, T-shirts. They're super sweet jackets. And then for all of you who are at the show, Extra Life is here at booth 523, so I encourage you to stop on by, make a donation, and we have collector boosters there and a show exclusive pin. So there's lots of amazing stuff. Come on by and support a great cause.
Booth 523, you said?
Yeah, booth 523.
All right, make sure to head down there and check that out. And again, support a good cause, grow your collection. You'll love to see it. I want to thank both of you for joining us on the stage here today. Mike, Ovidio, it's been great to chat with you about the Lord of the Rings and all the rest of the stuff that we've got across today. My friends out in the audience, please join me in thanking these two for their time and their expertise, because that is just about that. That's all she wrote today, sports fans, for the preview panel. But I want to remind you very quickly before we get off the stage about some of the very exciting stuff that's coming your way from the main stage, both today and throughout the rest of the weekend. The Magic Story podcast panel is coming your way. They also have an exclusive preview card to share with you, so stick around to see that if you want to see yet another card from Lost Caverns of Ixalan. We also, of course, have, I know you're excited for it, Game Nights Live. Baby, that's coming up later on today. Can I give you a piece of advice? Get here early. If you want a front row seat, if you want a back row seat, get here with plenty of time to spare, because this fills up very, very swiftly for the headline acts like Game Nights Live. We've got the cosplay contest tomorrow. Again, it's a huge event. Make sure you're here for that. And then I hope you'll join me on Sunday. If you want to kick back and relax, I'm going to be up here with Andrea Mengucci and Luis Scott Vargas, 2 of Magic's greatest superstars, to guide you through the World Championship semi-final and final as well. So if you're ever at a loose end for something to do, the main stage is a great place to come and enjoy the best that we've got to offer here at MagicCon Vegas. But there is appointment viewing with Game Nights Live, the cosplay contest, all sorts of other stuff as well. Check the app, you'll find all the details. But for now, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for hanging out with us so much for the preview panel. I certainly hope you enjoyed yourselves. And enjoy the rest of your weekend here at MagicCon Vegas. Thanks very much, everyone.